Hello and welcome to beautiful North Carolina. I'm Terry McInturff. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to show you my new guitar, the Spitfire. Now there's a lot to listen to, look at, and discuss, so why don't we make sense of it all by first taking a top-to-bottom tour of the Spitfire and its features. If you're watching this on YouTube, you might want to go to full screen mode so that you can view the little details I'll be pointing out as the show progresses. But that's enough of that for now. Let's get on with the show. TCM TV, Episode 1, Meet the Spitfire.
Eric Clapton has one, so does Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, and members of Linkin Park own his models too. In his workshop a little south of Raleigh, Terry McInturff builds custom and handmade electric guitars.
Spitfire is a solid body electric guitar that features a swamp ash body and your choice of a Honduras mahogany neck for a round, warm, sweet response, or an East Indian rosewood neck for a very articulate, snappy response with tons of sustain. My intent for the Spitfire was to provide a Stratocaster style tonality with more sustain and a little bit more girth in the lows. The 25 1/8 inch scale length helps in this regard. They're 22 frets, Dunlop 6105 is standard, and a 12-inch radius arch on the East Indian rosewood fretboard. The guitar is finished in ultra-thin nitrocellulose lacquer. There's a number of colors available. You're looking at white trans. The pickguard is actually inlaid into the body as a very three-dimensional material I call fire shell. It's the coolest tortoise shell I've ever seen. It surrounds the 3 custom pickups by Jason Lawler. This guitar is a set neck design. The neck joint has a large footprint. It's a mild dovetail joint, to be exact. These new locking tuners from Grover are the best locking tuning machines I've ever tried. In combination with the Godot 1055 trem bridge, this guitar stays in tune like a rock. I design my guitars to be tools for making music. They have to be easy to use, so I usually try to make the controls as intuitive as possible, easy to use even when you're on the mic singing. The 2 control knobs are solid milled aluminum with dual rubber grip rings. The silver knob controls a custom taper CTS volume control. The mini toggle switch is rated for 150,000 operations. You'd find it in the Space Shuttle. The 5-way switch yields the familiar Stratocaster pickup selections. And finally, the black knob is the rotary fader, custom fader from CTS that controls the remarkable new FullTec EQ. A lot more about that coming right up. Let's talk about the FullTec EQ, which is a special feature of the Spitfire you've never seen on any other guitar before. The FullTec EQ is inspired by the great studio equalizers of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Names like the FullTec, the Lang, Neve, Reyndirk. These are all circuits that influence my thinking. Why not take the tone control on a guitar, which most people leave at 10 anyway because it's not very useful, take that knob and do something with it that we're going to want to use. Something that is useful on stage, easy to use, great for recording, sounds wonderful through the amps. The FullTec is a dual function filter. The first function, with the mini toggle down in the down position, is low pass filter. Low pass filter works very similar to the plain old tone control that we all know and don't use. But it's a bit more finesse, smoother sounding, much more along the lines of a swept low pass filter on a high quality, large format recording console. Let's play with the neck pickup. I've got the rotary fader for the FullTec up all the way, so it's the low pass isn't doing anything. But listen to what happens as I start rolling it down. We're losing the high end without bringing a lot of boom along with it. We've got a very musical, rounded tone that allows us to hear the inside notes of the chord still. And if we pop on a little bit of gain, we can get that so-called woman tone that we all remember and love from the days of Cream and Mountain. So it's a very useful filter for bringing some of the shine off the top all the way to a much darker tone that still sounds musical. I hope you'll like it. We'll go to the middle position on the mini toggle, which again is true bypass. When it's in true bypass mode, all we hear is the chassis, the wood, the pickups, without any extra circuitry being inserted into the signal chain, which is nice because you can preset one of the two filters and play along without it. Hit that switch and you've got an instant preset. For instance, I'll play along and then I'll have a preset on the tone, on the low pass filter. So it's a handy feature to have. Second function, the especially interesting sweep filter. This is always in play, no matter what part of the fader you're using. There's a handy center detent in the fader that provides for a very handy reference point. Let's start by going back to true bypass and rolling the sweep filter up all the way. Again, playing on the neck pickup. Sweep filter on. We got something that's going in a humbucker direction all of a sudden from a Stratocaster style pickup. At the other end of the travel, and there are many colors in between plus and minus 10, we've got something that approaches an acoustic guitar. Let's go to neck pardon me, let's go to the middle pickup and the bridge pickup for that instantly identifiable stratish type of tone, although in the Spitfire it's got a little bit more girth and sustain than you'll tend to find on a Stratocaster. That's one of the characteristics of this guitar. You just have to play it to find out. But let's see how we can morph and warp the middle and the bridge pickup tone. Here we are back in true bypass. I've got the fader ready at our parked position at the detent. All right, let's put it in. Let's start playing around with it. We're starting to get that fourth position tone sounding quite unlike we're used to. Check this out. Turn the knob. A lot of shades everywhere you manipulate the filter. Or we can go to that P90 bridge pickup and add a real point to the mid-range and really sound a little bit interesting there. Check this out. When was the last time you heard a P90 sound like this? We'll bring it up a little bit. So we can do all kinds of tricks with the FullTec sweep filter, sweeping it around, getting real open sounding. I hope that the FullTec is going to be a tone control that you will finally want to use. I hope you've enjoyed our tour of the Spitfire, and again, I do appreciate your time. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions for future episodes, anything about my work at all, please email me directly at the email address on the screen and type in TCM TV in the subject bar. Until then, thanks again and all my very best to you and to your loved ones.
Okay, here comes a car. Cut.
Yeah.